Redline oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio is back and we're getting ready to go racing this weekend. Route 66 Raceway, the Gerber Collision and Glass, Route 66 NHRA Nationals, presented by Peak. It's like all Chicago all the time. Every major sponsor in the sport is going to be there with like thousands and thousands of employees and people. It's going to be great. We're going to have a great show for you as we're going to go, heavy Chi-Town. TJ Zizzo, seconds away. We're going to speak with the Zizz. Comes out a couple times a year, usually gets number one qualifier, that kind of thing. We'll speak with TJ about his plan for the race coming up. Also on the show, got to connect with Matt Smith as the Pro Stock Motorcycles are back. Matt Smith got the job done down there 4 wide. We'll see what Matt has to say about maybe going back to back, this time 2 wide. And Chris King, who is fighting and clawing his way into the funny car category, got kind of an interesting weekend planned, kind of a family first, but get the data weekend. We're going to talk with Chris King about what he's got going on. Firefighter, of course, Chicago firefighter. It's all happening. I do want to tell you about something that's happening at the end of the month, though, that I would love for you to come to. Maple Grove Raceway. Everybody know what we're talking about? Reading, Pennsylvania, the House of Chaos, the 23rd, 24th, 25th. They've actually got the dates 22, 23, 24, 25, but it's Lucas Oil Series drag racing. We're talking top alcohol dragsters, top alcohol funny cars. It's going to be great. I will be calling the action. I'm going to be going up there to the House of Chaos. And so come on out and join us for a little Lucas Oil Series action. Maybe I can find a super street car to race. Who knows? But what they want me to tell you all about, and this is very big, the Night of Chaos, Saturday, May 24th. They're going to have a jet truck. They're going to have jet cars. I'm going to yell, fire! It's going to be great. But the thing that is the most awesome, of course, you got 280 mile per hour top alcohol cars. It's going to be awesome. $40 per carload of people. That's how they're doing how you pay. Okay. So to make it real easy, because the WFO audience is challenged, if there's 4 people in a car, it's $40. It's $10 each. If there's 8 people in a car, it's $5 each. Do you figure this out? Have you gotten it going? This is an attempt to bring in like the young. They want the young kids to do it like we did back there in the 1960s, even though I wasn't in the 1960s. $40 a carload. But what about parking, Joe? What are they going to do about parking, Joe? What are we going to do? It's going to be $40 period. That's it per carload. If you go there by yourself and it's only you in the car, it's $40. So bring friends. All right. Night of Chaos, Saturday, May 24th. Be there. All right, let's bring on our guest, TJ Zizzo. Zizzo, number one.
Hey, what's happening, my man?
It's funny because I want to do a serious interview with you right now, but every time I get you on WFO, it's like, hey, my buddy TJ, how are you doing? What are you up to?
Do I just have that personality? Maybe that's the key. Maybe the key to life is just smiling and enjoying conversation with a friend, right? And when I listen to you almost every weekend on NHRA.TV, right? I get to hear a familiar voice, and it's always refreshing. So, yeah, I do feel like we're buddies.
Yes. And we've done a bunch of Nitro schools together and had a lot of good times out there. And you, last year, I felt like was a big, milestone moment for the team. So let's go back to that and then work forward from be a number one qualifier at your home race, a race that's so vital and important to drag racing and to NHRA because we're saving this track every time we go there. It's not like we saved it and it's saved forever. It's a consistent every year we got to save this place with a big race and a good attendance and a good show. So take me back to what that meant to you to accomplish that in front of the fam.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we need to go back to when we built our new car, right? Because of Don Schumacher, he granted us this new car, new combination, new heads, new blocks. Don wanted us to have everything our competitors had. And when he did that, he must have believed in us that much, because we went out there, stood on the gas and testing with that brand new car after we assembled everything here at our shop and ran career best numbers out of the box, right? So he saw something in our all volunteer team. And then from there, we go to, this was 2003. We debut this new car. We run well, but we struggled qualifying at Chicago in 2003. We qualified 16th. Barely qualified. We had to race Mike Salinas first round and went out there at the time and ran a career best 371 and beat him first round. So we knew the car had potential. I remember our crew chief, Mike Kern, saying, hey, Sunday's going to be a new day. We discovered some things on Saturday. Now we know how to run this race car. And Don was there at that point and saw us with all that potential and running well. And then we went to 3-4 events that year. Went through 2003 and felt confident. We were building our pieces to this puzzle.
Okay,
and
hold
building
on.
our car.
You keep saying 2003, and that was 22 years ago. Don't you mean 2020? Right? Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. That was a long time ago. That's when I first started.
A long time ago, man. Like, what are we talking about?
No, you're right. That was a super long time ago. That's when I just started driving our top fuel car. So no, 2023. I do apologize about that.
Old, man. We're all getting old.
No, that is the truth, no doubt. And the best thing is I've been up since like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was downtown Chicago doing Fox Studios stuff today. So what a blast today has been. But anyway, you're right, 2023. So let's then go to the last year, right? 2024. We go out there and boom, off the trailer run a 376. Spectacular, right? But we also know that last year there were 19 really good cars.
Yeah. Oh, please unfreeze. So see, he's getting a call. Someone is like,
hopefully I'm still there.
Yeah, you're still here. Yeah. Someone's calling you. They're like, TJ, you're on WFO. Did you know?
That's right. It's actually my therapist saying that for sure. She's like, hey, we were scheduled for 12 o'clock today, TJ. Where are you? Is what she's saying. So needless to say, she actually just texted me and said, hey, I understand. That's right. You talked to me. You're busy today. I told her I would call her at 12:30, so that it will all work out just fine.
You get a little, hopefully it's, go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to need a little therapy before we leave for this event tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, let's go back to 2024. So we go out there off the trailer, number one qualifier. That was great. But we knew there were 19 good cars there, cars that really should qualify for the event. And Q2 comes along and we got bumped down a little bit, right? And our crew chief, Mike Kern, awesome human being with the help of the rest of our team, because he always says it doesn't take one person, it takes an entire team to do this. We go out there and rip a 373 to go back to number one qualifier. And how spectacular was that? It was so spectacular that our entire team, we knew we had the pieces to do it. We just didn't know if we were going to be able to put it together. We go out there and then we see that someone like Brittany Force, world champion Brittany Force, one of the most competitive drivers out there, doesn't qualify for the event. And I remember John Force coming up to us before first round when we had to race Tony Stewart first round. He was number 16 qualifier last year. And John Force rode by us on the scooter, right? And he kind of eyeballed us. And then he turned around and came back and said, good job, young guys. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not too young. But it was spectacular. It was a good feeling to go to our hometown track, qualify number one, put Tony Stewart on the trailer first round, because we knew that anyone who qualified for that event had the potential to win the event. Even number one qualifier was going to struggle first round. And that was us. And we went out there and beat him. It was great. I hopped out of the car. I had never met Tony Stewart before. And I hopped out of the car after we made the turn off and said, hey, Tony, pleasure to meet you. My name is TJ Zizzo. It was fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Like after you beat the guy, like, geez, Tony, come on now. Everybody's saying what's up to you. This guy, Memphis Lonnie, gotta love TJ Zizzo, has the best at the ropes personality in the sport.
Wow.
Always proud of him when he races. That's actually a very specific and good compliment, right?
That's unbelievable.
Right? Well, people, you gotta work the ropes. That's a saying. You gotta work the ropes. Everyone's excited about Chicago. All right, so fast forward to this year. Is Tobler coming out? You can have Tobler with you?
Always. I mean, Tobler and our entire team have been buddies for I don't want to say 20 years, but it's pretty close to 20 years. And one of the reasons we're successful is because he has always tutored us from the outside. He was always kind of watching over our program to see, how we were doing and what we needed to do to progress. He was always overseeing our program. And Tobler and our entire team have a great relationship. And Mike Kern, our crew chief, and Tobler have a wonderful relationship. And I've seen that grow. I mean, I remember the first time Tobler came to our shop way back in the day. And Mike Kern had an idea. Tobler had an idea. They both had completely different ideas. And it was super to see how that all unfolded. It unfolded in a way in which we always joke about now. Tobler played his Wally card, right? His Wally card. Because Tobler at the time had, let's just say, I'm probably under exaggerating, but had like 40 Wallies. And he goes, Mike, how many Wallies do you have? And ever since that point, that was like breaking the ice for both of those guys to work together and gel. And that was, that must have been 10 years ago now. So it's wonderful to have Tobler in the house. He always loves his wine. He loves his music. He likes hanging out with our team. He enjoys that we come to the racetrack fully prepared and ready to do a good job.
Yeah, Tobler is underappreciated in the sport as far as stats and championships and being there and around and the stuff he did with Ron Capps. And maybe people don't realize how many teams he helped secretly behind the scenes, you guys being one of them. But Mike Kern, though, let's expand on Mike, right? Because there's this thing, the theory. There were the cars are the stars, of course. But now, the cars kind of are similar to one another. And people root for people. And in your area, the idea that there's a hometown team, period, because now everybody's based out of Brownsburg, right? Back in the day, Darrell Gwynn was my home team.
Yeah.
Miami. He represented Miami, but then everybody moved to Indy. And so we kind of lost a little bit about that. But if you're from Chicago, they can root for you and know that you are legit hometown team representing. That's why you're doing the TV at the local media. Let's talk a little bit about Mike. This guy, you guys run limited schedule, but he's very intense and he's bringing a lot to the table.
Mike, when he came to our team way back in 2003 or 4, right? And I said 2003 or 4 that time correctly, Joe.
20 years.
A long time ago, he wanted to be a crew chief, and his dad, Mike Fazer, and my dad were friends. They raced together here in the Midwest all over the place. And Mike came to our team as a cylinder head guy, and he really saw some potential in us and what we wanted to do, and he wanted to work up to becoming our crew chief. He worked under Dave Settles. He worked with Ron Tobler. He worked with a lot of people, and the first time he was our official crew chief, we blew it up in the lights at Milan, Michigan. I hit the wall, and it gives me chills saying that. Not because I hit the wall, but Mike was down on himself at that race. He wanted to go home. He wanted to say, hey, this is maybe too much for me. I made a mistake or whatever. And I remember my dad distinctly talking to Mike, with passion, with Dago passion, saying, hey, you're not going anywhere. Let's get this car fixed. Let's get this thing on the racetrack. We're going out tomorrow. Mike's like, we just crashed the car, rubbed the wall at 300 miles an hour. We're not going anywhere. My dad's like, we're getting this car on the track tomorrow. And I think that flipped the switch for everyone involved. And Mike really stepped up. We got the car back. We ended up only driving the car to like 300 feet just to make sure everything was good. But that was the beginning of Mike Kern's career as a crew chief. And to see where he is now, you said it, he's intense. He is at our shop more than anyone. Well, maybe not more than my dad, right? But he's here more than anyone, always fine-tuning his craft. And I am so proud to have him as our crew chief. I'm proud to have him as a friend, as just someone who cares about our entire team so deeply. He always says, and I said this twice now, it's not just him. It's not just Tobler. It's not just TS. It's everyone. It's everyone on this team that makes this car go round. And we've had the same all volunteer team members, the core group of us, for 20 plus years. And it's amazing. I mean, I'm blessed to have Mike Kern in our corner, and he could probably go anywhere and do a great job for anyone. But I think racing part-time gives him balance to his life too. And he has a spectacular career as an engineer. So, this gives him a place to dabble, a place to have some fun, and he really enjoys being with our team.
All right. So obviously, Dago passion represent. Right?
Yes.
It's not really an official term necessarily, but I get where you're coming from on that one. So people want to know about the season, right? Like, so let's look ahead. What do you got mapped out for 2025? Where are we going to see this car? And I think the reason people want to know that is you're one of the rare ones that wherever you show up, that could be the one. Like this is a team that is a win that is waiting to happen, but it's not for you to decide. It's for the racing gods to decide. And people want to know where you're going to be.
It is truly up to the racing gods. You say that so correctly. I mean, we have had a great race car and lost because of the smallest issues. Or in one case, we were ready to win an event, go to the final round. I'm not saying we were going to win that event, but we really had an upper hand, and it rained on us, right? And we ended up postponing that event for 2 or 3 months. Why Justin Ashley honed his craft and was doing a much better job by the time we got to the U.S. Nationals that year. So we will be attending, of course, Joliet. Then we'll be going to the U.S. Nationals and then to St. Louis. So we will be doing 3 events this year: Chicago, Indy, and St. Louis. Those are the 3 events we will attend.
Okay. All right. 3 races. And you made that decision a couple of years back to do fewer races at the highest possible level. And so every time we speak with you, you're like, we have a list of things we're going to update on the car. My question to you is, at some point, I would think that the list would have to get shorter because you are accomplishing. Is that true?
No, absolutely not. We spend approximately 2,000 man hours, and that is not an exaggeration, per event. That's how much time our team spends at our shop honing their craft, working on this race car. We went to Chicago last year, qualified number 1. We have way better parts going this year than we did last year. So we're always trying to get better. Like my dad says, just because we're not at the racetrack doesn't mean we're not doing our homework. We constantly do our homework. Even on weekends when we're working on our race car in the shop, we're watching NHRA TV and we're learning. I'm seeing what my competitors are doing. We're seeing what our competitors are doing. So we are always working hard. And you're right. Tony Smith, longtime team member for 32 years, I believe, this year. Tony Smith, our clutch guy, came to us. Go ahead.
AKA Ice Cube, correct?
Yeah, AKA Ice Cube. You're exactly right. He came to us in 2014 and he said, "Hey, can we go to less races with more money?" And I said, "Sounds genius. Let's do it." So we worked really hard on that. And we might be able to get another race or 2 in, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. We would like to go to the event with everything that the best competitor out there has, and that's how we stay so active and so, I don't want to say good. That's a statement, right? But we try to go to the event and put our best foot forward and do the best job we can. And it is nice to be that guy that when they see us on the entry list, all of our competitors go, "Okay, good quality team. They'll do well. They'll represent NHRA and the sport of drag racing well."
Okay, so some things have changed. Let's talk Friday Q1. Right around 2:00, I believe, and 5:30 for Q2. But we've got these air deflectors are now a thing. I haven't received like the up to the minute update, but I'm assuming that it's going to be allowed to be adjustable and, on or off, etc. There's that. This is a track that doesn't get utilized. And so I'm hoping NHRA is going to be there and they're going to do everything that they can possibly do to awaken the life in the rubber, which is a thing. So the first couple qualifying sessions, based on what we saw last year, this track is going to be like reawakening. How do you handle that difficult situation? Because there's 17 cars on the entry list, not quite 19 like last year. But tell me a bit how you're going to handle that first qualifying session guess, if you will.
Yeah. Well, last year, I believe there were more than 19 cars, but I say good quality cars because there were 19 cars that could run 70s all day long, right? And 60s. So, this year I look at that entry list and there's 14 of them that are really, really strong. And you're right, there's 17 on the entry list. But let's face it, we could be number 17. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about this sport. There are no provisionals. This isn't easy. You're not granted anything. Just because you were number one qualifier at St. Louis the last time we went out and ran our car doesn't mean we're even going to qualify for the show. So yeah, there's a lot of things to look at, like racetrack. You mentioned that. We'll have our track specialist, Jake Green, out there checking out the track, seeing what it's capable of. Of course, Tobler, Kern, Tony Smith. We have some great people that really know how to dance through some tricky track conditions. But it will be a challenge. It is at 2 and 4. It's earlier this year we're running than last year. The track will need to come alive. It will take a run or two to get organized. It's kind of like the U.S. Nationals. When we go to the U.S. Nationals, we know that Friday night session isn't the best, right? You're really tiptoeing through there. And our team is really good at doing that. You mentioned these air deflectors, right? We did not get our side panels in time for this event. We'll have them moving forward. But you're right, there will be another little change there that we'll have to adapt in the future. But none of that stuff scares us. We're there to compete. We're there. We got knowledge and power, so we'll be just fine.
Excellent. Very, very good. Well, TJ, I know that you've got a session you got to hit. So I want to let you go hit the session. But thank you very much for joining us on the show. Super excited about seeing you this weekend. I know your fans are as well. You guys always bring it. You mix it up. Last year, you got to the second round, and that was very exciting. I know you're doing a lot of media for NHRA as well on TV, bringing them all out. And as we said, every year we go to this race, we got to save this race every year in a row. So I'm excited about it. And thank you for making time for us here on WFO Radio.
I appreciate it, Joe. Always a pleasure. Thank you very much. And I really, truly enjoy your power to the sport because we get to hear your voice all the time and we love it.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Thanks, TJ.
Yep.
Say hi to the therapist.
I will, no doubt. She's going to love to see what I got to say
Dr.
today.
Melfi, right? Dr. Melfi. All right. Later, bud. Here he
Right.
goes. TJ Zizzo, my man. Great story. Such a great story. Great family race team. And the idea that they keep them all together and everybody volunteers. And he mentioned Tony Smith and everything. It is great stuff. We've got a lot more to come here on WFO Radio. We're going to connect with Matt Smith. We're going to connect with Chris King. It's all happening here on WFO, but it's happening right after this.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
And we are back here on WFO Radio. If you're listening to the audio-only podcast, we encourage you to write a review. Apparently, that is a big deal in the podcast world. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. If you can't watch the show, you can always listen on our podcast feed. We appreciate it. All right, now we're going to kick it back to the American Rebel Light Beer. Fort Wide Nationals, zMAX Dragway. He's joining us now. I can't figure out for the life of me where he is, but he joins us now, Mr. Matt Smith. What's up, Matt? Put yourself in the middle there, bud. There you go. What's up, Matt? Where are you at?
Hey, I'm at home, actually. I just left the shop. We had some reason we had a power surge earlier, and we lost our internet down there. So I don't know what's going on. So I ran up to the shop real quick and to the house and got internet here.
Okay, you had to scramble, right? You had to scramble to make this show, to make WFO radio, but for good reason. We are going now, no Pro Stock here this weekend. Pro Stock Motorcycle, you guys are the naturally aspirated, and a big win. That was a big win at the start of race 2 in 2025. You know, like Gage goes out there, wins the first 2, people lose interest. They're going to be like, oh man, it's going to be another one of those things. Fans of Matt Smith, they can beat on their chest a little bit. How'd you guys do it?
Yeah, I mean, we got close to the end of the year last year. I think, everybody looks at it was me and Gage, running for the championship, and ultimately he won. But we had some round losses that we had in the countdown that were done by not rider error, but just part failures. And so we knew we had a bike that we could compete with them, and me and him were within 100th at Gainesville. I just couldn't cut a light down there. Got really beat up on the internet by all the keyboard warriors, and, I come to Charlotte saying, I need to prove myself. I'm 52 years old. I can still do this. And I wanted to show everybody that I could still win races. And that's what we did. We qualified second and we won the race. And, I needed every bit of that whole shot, in the finals, because it wasn't a whole shot, but that good light of 14. And I think the worst of the round was a 27. I think that was by Gage. Richard and Steve were better than that. And it was a good race between me and Richard.
Yeah, I want to focus in on a couple of these things, right? 14 light, to be able to dial that up, like that's good stuff. Yeah, like what's the difference between a 009 and a 14? It's 5 thou, but really for you guys, like I'm sure you'd take 14, every light from now on. That's digging down for the final. But I'm kind of surprised, or maybe it's a good thing, that you're paying attention to the internet, that the internet beats you up, that you're motivated by the internet. Talk a little bit about that. Why? Who cares?
I don't care. I mean, it gets old kind of, with, like I said, a lot of keyboard warriors out there that A1, they say I'm a crybaby, and then they say, I can't cut a light. And, ultimately, I mean, I'm a 6-time world champ, and I try to do what it takes to win races. And, I do everything I can to promote our sponsors, to keep our sponsors, and to win races. That's what our sponsors pay us to do. And ultimately, I feel like I'm one of the best that's ever been out there. My name's up there with Dave Schultz, John Myers, Angel, Andrew Hines. So I want to be the best. I want to be one of the best, and that's what I'm striving to be. But ultimately, I mean, it's just about doing my job. It's hard to do it. A lot of people go, I don't even know. I can't even run 2 bikes. I don't know how you run 4 bikes and ride. And I think the biggest thing is I don't focus on myself. I focus on Gianna, Angie, John Hall. And I don't really worry about me. I just go up and do what I can. And I think if I just had 1 bike, I would second guess myself way worse than I do. And I probably wouldn't be as good as I am with just 1 bike.
That's interesting. You don't have the time to second guess yourself. You got to figure it out, make the call, move it on, go to the next.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask anybody around camp, 9 times out of 10, I don't even do a map till they come and call us. I'm worried about everybody else's maps, getting their stuff done, watching the weather, the clutches, and getting everything I can done for those other 3 bikes. And typically when Will Ray comes around and calls us, I'm like, all right, now I got to do my map. Everybody else is loaded. They're good. Let me go do mine real quick. And, that didn't give me a lot of time to second guess myself.
All right. Well, I'm real excited about this season, but you did mention Gianna, and Brian Loans on NHRA Insider Podcast last week reported some news about Scrappers Racing, Top Fuel, just to get the news regarding Scrappers Racing with Matt Smith Racing. He said everything is going to continue as normal. Can you confirm that?
Yes, everything is normal with Scrappers Pro Stock Motorcycle. We're good for the rest of this year. I've been told by Mike we're good for, it looks like 80% next year. They're working on a couple of other small deals for her to get 100% for next year, but that looks very promising. So I'm not really worried about our program, her program. I think everybody knows it takes a lot of money to run Top Fuel. And when you don't have sponsors and you're doing it out of your own pocket, it's only so long you want to spend $2 million out of your pocket a year. So I understand the whole concept. They're looking for money. There's a lot of things going on with him right now. I think they're putting some deals together. I'm not going to speak on behalf of what it is, but I know they got some big things coming up from what I understand. But Gianna's, she just got GHG on board for the rest of this year and Pleasant Tree Concrete on board. And I think those deals are working on securing them for next year. And if all that happens good, then she's good for next year. So all in all, we just need her to do better. We need her to race better, need to do better on Sunday. And she needs to get some round wins and go to semifinals, finals. And we're going to try to get her a win this year. That's my goal. That's one of my goals this year is to try to get her a win this year.
No, I see it. I feel it. It's coming. She's got the result. It's just got to happen. And it doesn't happen until, like I say this racing gods term all the time. Some people don't like it, but what I mean is the randomness of winning and losing. Like you can have your worst day at the track. Gianna had a terrible day at the racetrack and she brought home her only Wally that day. Like that's crazy. Yep. And she has raced so much better on countless occasions recently where she's really ridden well and been good and has yet to win. So you can work so hard and do so well and still not get results sometimes until, and this is where I say the racing gods, they decide. And then one day you've won and you're in and you could win multiple races. It's so crazy. Thank you for that clarification. Didn't want you to speak for them, but for Matt Smith Racing, and Gianna will still be on. My thought is you've come so far with her. She's come so far. I can't imagine Pro Stock Motorcycle without her right now. And so I definitely want to see her continue. Same with Angie. And feels like Angie's knocking at the door as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Gianna, her last year was her first year on the Buell. So for her to run a V-twin and run as good as she did, that's what we wanted to happen. She is above that expectation this year. She's working on her lights. And I think everybody knows last year she had a fast bike and she just struggled with lights last year. And I can't blame it all on her. I had the same problem at Gainesville. When it all boils down to, we switched to this Gen 2 clutch. And when you leave really low, it's just hard to cut a light. And with these V-twins, we have so much torque that we have to literally try to slide the clutch so much, the initial, that our bikes don't want to react. And so the only way to get it to react is to raise the two-step up or put a bunch of bass in it. And the problem is then we go out there and we blow the tire off. So it's just a fine line, and I'm working toward that. That's where we were at Gainesville. I was slipping it too much and couldn't get it to bike to react. I figured that out at Charlotte. I got to get everybody else on that page. We went and tested with her after Charlotte, and her bike's really fast. She was within the 100th and a half of me to the 1,000 foot. So looking for her to be really good this weekend at Chicago. Angie's bike was right there at Chicago. She was just late. I slipped the clutch too much in low gear. Her bike didn't react, but she had a fast bike. She was fourth of the round. So all in all, I think we'll have 4 fast bikes up there, and we're going to take this fight to the Advanced Nines boys this weekend.
I like it. So Scott is out there. He's put some, I'm assuming these are goats, Scott. They're a little small, but he's telling you that you're the goat. And Blake saying, congratulations on your win in Charlotte. LaToya saying, what's up? All right. What is the status? Here we are, race 2 of Pro Stock Motorcycle. I remember, let's call it 2/3 of the way through last year. There was a lot of conversations happening. Andrew was talking and you were talking, you guys were talking to NHRA, and everybody was trying to figure out a formula that would be better, right? Like let's keep it vague, right? Like everybody was trying to figure out a formula that would be better. Here we are, race 2 of 2025. For me, it feels a little better, like closer, and we want more people to race. So give me your state of the class at this moment, and what has been done, and has it worked? Is it working?
I'll say this: I think the Vance Times guys missed it on Sunday. We know it was a lot cooler on Sunday. Pro Stock car picked up 300s. Gage qualified with a 68. He didn't run. He should have run 65 on Sunday. He didn't. He ran the best of 72 or 73. So all in all, I think they missed it on Sunday on his bike. I think Richard ran really good. I do think they still have a little bit of advantage, but when they make mistakes, we're going to try to capitalize as much as we can. I think in the grand scheme of things, I proposed this to NHRA over the winter. if you look at last year, look at the last 2 years, Gage has won 18, 19, or 20 races, whatever it is at this point. He's dramatically been the class odds favorite in everything we do. I tried to get NHRA over the winter to put, hey, let's put a 3 race cap on it. Now, hear me out on that. I said, it's not right to penalize the whole brand when it comes down to it, because a rider's just that much better than the second rider, third rider, fourth rider of the class. So when I said that, I meant it was going to be against me and Gage more than anything. And I said, look, if once the racer wins 3 races in a season, put 10 pounds on him, just that rider. He gets a 10-pound penalty. If he wins 2 more races, he gets another 10 pounds. Make it to where that bike is heavy. And same for me. If I won 3 races, then penalize me 10 pounds. So I wanted to give other opportunities for other people to ride, like Richard in his own camp, the war bikes in the Vance and Hines, camp deal. They run that motor. So I just was trying to help the people down the road more, and even in like our camp, help the Ryan Ehlers and the Mark Ingersons of our class, because when it's all said and done, Vance and Hines team and the MSR team is the top 2 teams out there, and they're on both different platforms. So when they penalize one platform, all the racers below them get penalized. And I was just trying to make something where we help include the other ones, because everybody knows it's the last 6 races of the year. That's all that counts. You can win as much as you want the first year. You just got to be good the last 6. So if it made it where Gage and me were more equal to the 4th, 5th, and 6th place guy come the countdown, man, we'd have a heck of a countdown. So, and we have more people in the countdown to race for a championship. So that's kind of all I was doing. I tried to get that done, and they didn't like that idea.
Yeah. So, without, outing anybody for their opinion, I would rather them just come on and tell me. And of course, they're invited to come on and tell me, like that's whole WFO thing. But that's very, anti-traditional drag racing competition for one team or driver to carry extra weight, even though they have the same kind of vehicle, just because they're great at it. I see where you're coming from, though, because there's no real other way to solve the problem. In many ways, it's a compliment, right? Like if you're carrying an extra amount of weight, that means you're great. And, tough stuff. Just like the team that wins the Super Bowl gets the last pick in the NFL draft. They don't get the pick first. But I can see how that would be maybe controversial.
Well, I think the sports car racing industry does that. I talked to Johnny Gray about it, Joe Koning, from Trimtex. We talked about it. They race those series, and that's the way they do it. Whenever somebody goes and dominates 2 races in a row, or they get 50 pounds added to them and to just that car. So I was looking at other sanctions that does this, and I was just trying to help our deal out a little bit. So we don't have one person winning all the time. And it could go on for any class. Just say Greg Anderson goes out there and wins 10 straight races. The class gets boring. You don't want the same person winning all the time. Austin Prock wins all the time in Funny Car. It looks like, last year. It would have been a good thing for that class to happen last year, to where more people could try to win. It's all it is just trying to help more people be able to win races. It's not about penalizing somebody. It's about keeping our sport healthy and being able to get more people in and more people a chance to win races.
Well, we did an interview with Sean Bellemere. We had a very busy week, guys. Sean Bellemere was on, Brittany Force was on, Randy Couture was on. It was great stuff. Go back, check out the archive. But Sean Bellemere said, and I want everybody to go check it out, but they're parking the Nitro car because of, rules changes that are happening that are affecting them and other cars. And they've got it figured out, but other people don't. And other people are throwing their hands in the air because they don't have it figured out yet. Now, like, percentages are coming down. It's becoming confusing, et cetera, and so on. I'm not a tech guy. I don't have that skill set. I love the story, though. And you got to have stories to tell. And the you versus Gage story, I'm interested in it, but it would be better if there were some more personalities involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm not going to go give my technology up to try to help, the Ryan Ehlers team or the Mark Ingerson team to catch them up, but weight can do that. If we win too much and we get penalized, that weight will slow us down and it brings them back up to us a little bit. No different than, Andrew Hines is not going to go tell Tim Kalungian how to run that motor and anybody else that buys the Vance Hines motor. So that's all it was to try to slow the top people down. And at the end of the year, the weight come back off and we started next year with the same thing. Everybody's equal again. So that's all it was I was just trying to help more people be able to win races, more people to be competitive. And that way it's just not two people dominating all the time. And I mean, I feel like I'm a great rider. I know Gage is a great rider. And, I was just trying to help other people out.
No, I appreciate it. Listen, whether things work out or don't work out, they say there's no bad ideas. I love the old, throw a lot at the wall. Let's hear the ideas and then talk them out and see what works and what doesn't work. That's an interesting angle. Thank you for sharing. And I'm sure we'll get a lot of feedback regarding. Let's talk about Q1 at Joliet, Route 66 Raceway, a track that I say it over and over again, because if there's anywhere within, 300 miles, that's not a bad drive. You really should go, because we have to save this race every year. It's not like a permanent facility, permanently back. We get it forever. And it's such a great track, such a great facility, such a great market going into Chicago, all these great things. But it's kind of going to be a green racetrack when we get back there each year, because there's not a lot of running on there.
I like Chicago. I mean, I think I've won there twice, maybe 3 times, but I know I've won there twice. And everybody knows I like to fish. So they got the big pond behind the tower, and at night we go fishing, and it's a good stress relief, and I really enjoy going to the track, and it's a beautiful facility. We need everybody, all the fans, to come out and support this deal, because, like you said, it's not a permanent deal, and we lost it for 3 or 4 years there, and we're back. So, drag racing in general, we have to have fans, we have to have racers support our local tracks. And Chicago is the only local track that I know of in that area that's that big of a place for people to go and do this. So please come and support. All the fans, come out, come to the race. And I promise you it's going to be a fun time. Normally it's pretty fast there. I know it's an altitude track, but still the track is so good typically that you can about throw everything you want at it. But I'm looking forward to it this weekend. We're coming in. Angie's got a brand new motor. It's more of a motor like mine and Gianna's that we've built. We've got the 3rd one done now, and I think she'll be pretty fast this weekend. So hopefully, all of us will be good, but we'll see what happens.
My sources say you won 2018, 2019. So a little back-to-backage out there at Route 66 Raceway. I agree. So what do you catch in that pond? Like, what are you catching in that pond?
I just bass fish. That's all I want to do on freshwater. Now, when we go out deep sea fishing, we're catching. Me and Angie went out last week and caught a bunch of mahi-mahi, and she caught 1 tuna. So all in all, we just bass fish freshwater, and that's where the racetrack is. So they got some good bass back there, so I enjoy going there.
Now, do you put them back in there? Or
yeah, catch and release all the time freshwater.
Catch and release. What about the mahi, though? The mahi, you're eating those.
Oh, definitely eating those. We saved them, cooked them. We had a fish fry here when we got back home with my mom and dad. And then we vacuum packed the other, and they're ready to go next time we want some fish.
The only fish that I really can handle is mahi, right? Dolphin, we call it down here.
Yep.
But that's really all I can do. I'm not really into anything else, but that I'll do. So, all right, Matt, we'll see you in a couple of days. Thank you very much. Congratulations on your win out there at the American Rebel Light Beer 4-Wide Nationals. Big final round win. You guys got best appearing as well. Angie's bike is beautiful. I appreciate that. I know some people want to just wrap their bikes, but you guys go the extra mile. And insanity level. That's great. Like, it's like it takes a while to see all the work in her bike. And so congratulations on that. It was a 2 Wally weekend for the team.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, she got the little Wally. I got the big Wally. So maybe this weekend she'll get the big Wally, or Gianna get the big Wally. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. One of them 2 girls to pick up the big one.
There you go. All right, Matt, be good. We'll see you in a few days. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt Smith with us here on WFO Radio. What do you think of that idea? A little extra weight on, I don't know. I'm processing on the concept, right? There, you're serving multiple masters here. Like, we want it to be interesting, but at the same time, do we want to literally weight penalize someone for being good? I don't know. It's an interesting topic. Put your comments in the comment section. If you're watching on YouTube, use the comment section to let us know what you think about Matt Smith and that concept. And is it something that could be viable for one class or multiple classes of NHRA drag racing? In the end, though, there's only so much weight that you can pile on to a racecraft before it changes the vehicle dynamics. And so that is a limiting factor, but I'm interested to see what you have to say, and we'll do it. Your comments will be appreciated. Chris King going to be joining us just moments from now. Before we get to Chris, though, I want to tell you about a couple of our great sponsors who keep the show going, literally, like Bernie Speed Shop. BURNYZZ.com. Bernie's, this is Josh and Brittany Hart's shop up there in Ocala, Florida. 100,000 square feet. They're now spreading throughout the country. What do? Well, they're a dealership for exotic or muscle cars. They do frame off restorations, but they're also selling your cars on consignment. Like, let's say you've got that really special vehicle, special to you and your family. You know it's worth more than what the neighbors are going to pay. You bring it to Josh, and they have a database of people that are interested in the car. And it's not like your town or your city, it's worldwide. So, like, let's say you've got a 2005 Pontiac GTO with very low miles, and you want to get to that base of people. Josh and his team can do that for you. Let's say you want a frame off restoration, like beautiful, top notch, the highest tier level. They do that as well. So check out Bernie's, go check out their social media, and you'll see what we're talking about. Bernie's Speed Shop. Also, great friends at HusseyPerformance.net. David Allen and the team. I just mentioned they're going to be up there in Pennsylvania coming up at the end of May, 23, 24, 25 at Maple Grove. Hopefully they'll be there. 412-716-4872. HusseyPerformance.net. They're not just copper head gaskets anymore. They do everything, right? They've got multiple materials, valve cover gaskets, oil pan gaskets, whatever you need, and they turn them around very rapidly. So if you're ordering now, you might be getting them the day after tomorrow. That rapidly. Certainly that's how it worked with Project Pontiac. Like, and header gaskets, next thing you know, they're showing up in the mail. HusseyPerformance.net. Plus they've got contingency program for top alcohol dragster, top alcohol funny car, top sportsman, top dragster in the NHRA, and in the PDRA, top sportsman and top dragster. So go to HusseyPerformance.net. Give David a call, 412-716-4872. Real courage, giving out the shop number there. Thank you, David. And everything is sourced in America. And I love saying it. They don't have to bring their manufacturing back because they never left. It is a very exciting thing. HusseyPerformance.net. Give them a call and appreciate them being on board with WFO Radio. Chris King going to tell us his story when he comes back.
Foggit is a high-performance fogging oil designed especially for internal combustion engines. Foggit can be used by everyone. If you have a lawnmower, a jet ski, a motorcycle, a tractor, a high-performance car, a classic car, racing vehicles, if it has a cylinder wall, it needs Foggit.
Big congratulations to Gary Stinnett. Got down to 3 cars Friday night at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Tebow's race out there. Sean Langdon got the win, $50,000. Langdon padding the bank account. How about Langdon? Wins the 1,000th Top Fuel race, knocks him down for $50,000 2 weeks later. Like, this guy's riding high right now. Good job, Sean Langdon, and appreciate that. All right, let's go out. This is cool, right? Because Chris King is joining us on the show, and he is there working on the car right now. What do you got, Chris?
Hey, thanks for having me, Joe. We're down in Brownsburg putting the final touches on the race trailer. Just got some fresh vinyl put on there. Thanks to Nitro Alley Graphics. Randy's been real great helping us out. So we're getting ready to get this thing on the road and head back up home to Chicago so we can put down some good numbers at the Route 66 Nationals. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so it's a very interesting situation going on with you because you've built this team. It is your great desire to qualify for races and challenge for round wins. And from my estimation, you're getting there. You're advancing the ball and you're going to your home race. But sometimes things happen in the world, things happen in life, and Sunday is your son's graduation from college, and you had to make a brutal decision. Tell us a little bit about all of that and how you came to the conclusion to do what you're doing.
So my life has been really hectic lately. I got promoted at the first part of the year, and that put my race plans on hold because we were supposed to go down to Gainesville, so I had to cancel that. And then we were going to go to Charlotte, but we hadn't gotten our new assignment, so I had to cancel Charlotte. So then we're like, okay, we're set for Joliet.
Yes. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. He's frozen. He'll be back. It always works out in the end. Most of the time. Let's see what people have to say while Chris is like resetting, right? Nicole says, be a dad first. Let's see. Tony Morris here listening while working. What's up, Tony? Good to see you. Ralph says support. Ralph's in Ocala. Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to kick Chris out. I think he's just frozen. And sometimes you kick him out, then he realizes that he's frozen, is like gone, and then he'll come back. Let's see what you guys have to say. Todd Turner says, can't wait to see you all in person this weekend. Absolutely. Allowing the opportunity of technical knowledge being privileged privately. Thank you for sharing. Well, that's what WFO Radio is all about. This show is, we had a really interesting week last week. You had Randy Couture came on the show. Randy, who is a UFC champion. A lot of people in drag racing don't know who Randy Couture is. That's crazy. He's a very big personality. He's in movies like The Expendables. Like, he's working with Sly Stallone and Arnold, all of that stuff. Wants to come drag racing. He's going to go pro mod racing this weekend. They're going to unveil the car. That was a huge storyline last week. In addition to Matt Latino and Donnie Dernberger coming on after Donnie's unique double. But then we spoke with Brittany Force. I highly encourage everyone to check out that interview with Brittany. She talks about DNQing at this race last year, but she also talked about the 341.59 at zMAX and gives us the inside details. I see, Chris, I see you're down there. I'm going to bring you right back up. And then we had Sean Bellemure, the interview that I think, speaking of technical knowledge, everybody was very interested in. We'll talk about that more, but now we got Chris back. Chris, you're back, buddy. You're back.
Sorry about that, Joe. My phone's terrible, but that's my life story lately. Everything's been...
Yeah, man, now you're all off mic. Like you sounded so great before, but now you sound terrible. Make sure you're not covering the microphone with your hand.
I probably am. I suck at these things, man. I apologize. Is that better?
You need a media guy. You need a media guy to train you up. Know any?
I might know a couple.
All right, go on. Pick it up. You got promoted. You got promoted at work.
All right.
Go.
I did. I got promoted beginning of the year, so I had to cancel my Gainesville appearance. And class was 7 weeks long, Monday through Friday, and they didn't give us our assignments till like the second to last day, which made us cancel Charlotte. So we were planning on racing a bunch this year, but life gets in the way. You know, we're a part-time team, and I have to work to pay the bills. So that was priority. So now we're here for Joliet and got everything ready to go. And then my son says, hey, my graduation date's the 18th. I'm excited. I'm like, oh, my goodness. When it rains, it pours. So we'd already had plans, got everything ready to go to Joliet. So family's first. I can't miss my son's graduation. He worked his tail off for this, and I'm very proud of him. So we decided as a team that we're going to show up. We have a lot of friends, a lot of family, a lot of sponsors coming to the race. So we need to put a show on for them. So Friday, Saturday, we're going to hit all 4 qualifiers and put on one heck of a show for our NHRA fans, our family, and our sponsors. And then we're going to go watch Shane graduate Sunday morning. And then by noon, I should be on my way back to the track to finish watching the event and get my stuff packed up.
Wow. Okay, so I want to talk about the car and the progress you've made with Bob, but let's address what I like. When I first read about this, I thought, what if you qualify and take a spot from someone who's struggling and then don't show up? Like, that's not a good look, and I don't think that people would respond well to that. How are you going to address that issue? Because you need to learn. You need to learn on the national event level. You need to be there for your sponsors. You need to put on a show like you said, but at the same time, you don't want to accidentally do something that's going to be perceived as negative, whether or not it is. So, address that if you will.
Yeah, it's a very hard thing. Like you said, we need all the laps and track time we can get as a team to better our program, but we don't want to screw anybody who's running for points or that could possibly make the show. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out and I'm going to clip it off 800-900 feet, or Bob's going to shut me off. The first lap, obviously, we got a new fuel system, so it's going to be a 300-400 foot hit. But, we're going to go out there and do everything I can to make this car not run to its full potential, but to run well enough to get the numbers and the data we need so we can rock in Norwalk. So unfortunately, if someone can't beat what we're going to run down by shutting the car off, shame on them. But I'm going to do what I can to not make that happen. But unfortunately, there's possibilities that it could happen, and it's just a bad situation. But again, the business side of it, I have sponsors and obligations to have this car on the track for them. And, you know, with me parking at the shop and not being out there, I lose opportunities for more funding and to keep my name out there. I mean, and NHRA didn't put me in the National Dragster episode of Funny Car Drivers this year because I wasn't out running, even though we do 4 or 5 a year. But like little things like that matter because people look at it and they say, oh, well, you're not listed. Well, I am racing. So I need all the attention I can get, all the help I can get. So whatever we can do to get this car and team out there so people can recognize us and see that we're not a duck. We're going to be running good numbers eventually this year and qualifying for races. So that's the goal.
All right. So listen, tough deal, right? And life is about difficult choices, and you've got a plan, and it sounds like a good plan. And if there's 19 cars on the entry list, and if a couple of them can't figure out how to run better than you guys, then, you know, like you said, tough stuff. But you're not going to drive it to the stripe under power specifically to give that little window of opportunity as you find out data so you can be ready to race for real in Norwalk. Does that make sense?
Exactly. That's the game.
Yes,
I think that's exactly it, Joe.
And no one should be angry about that, I think.
No, I mean, it's racing when it comes down to it. You know, we're all friends in the pits, but when you're on the track, racing's racing. And like I said, man, I'm not going to go out there and I'm not going to deliberately try to bump somebody out and be that scumbag. You know, I'm going out there to represent my friends, my family, my sponsors, and we're going to run and do what we need to do as a team. But again, we're going to shut off. I might throw the chutes a smidge early just to slow that car down and give people the opportunity to bump in if they're on that end of the bump, you know?
Well, exactly. And so let's talk about the program, right? You do have sponsors. You got people helping you out. You got Bob Peck. The car's getting better every time you go out. You qualified for Indy. I know you got Reed on your rocker arms and stuff. So tell me a little bit about everybody who's helped you out and how is this thing advancing and where do you think you are going?
So bringing Bob Peck in was the game changer for my team. He's amazing. He's smart. He's got resources, and he's what I needed to take my program to the next level. And I'm just thankful that he was willing to help a guy like me out and invest in my program. You know, we got some good people helping us. Obviously, I need financial help, but we got part support and some financial, but not enough to get to where we need to be. Impact's helping me out with my safety gear. Howard's Cams and Competition Products has been awesome since the beginning, ever since I was an alcohol funny car. They're great people. And then Reed Rocker Arms is helping us out, and we're helping him develop the Nitro Rocker stand, which a lot of crew chiefs are paying attention to because our car sounds and runs good. So Goodson is helping us out with some of the consumable products like, you know, cutting wheels and things like that for the clutches. And then we got NGK, which has been huge. Jackie and Leela from NGK help us out with spark plugs. And that program helped save me some money. So little things like that go a long way for me with the parts deals and things like that. I couldn't do it without the help of the big teams, you know, like Guido, Alex from Tony Stewart Racing. Guys like that helped me find parts at a good price and help me get the things that I need to keep this car competitive, but affordable. You know, I use secondhand parts from them, but I get dibs on where it comes from. Johnny Lindbergh and Medlin have been great. You know, we rent a shop from Johnny, so he's been involved with helping get things straightened out and some fabrication work for the race car. So the Nitro family is great. Everybody's helping everybody out. They want to succeed. We need cars out there, and they know that. So helping a little guy like me helps fill the fields. And my goal is to get this program to be a full-time program if I could ever find the funding. I want to be out there racing and try to go for round wins and championships someday. But right now it's just not in the cards because this is all self-funded so far. But, you know, we're trying. We'll see what happens.
Crawl, walk, run. And that's why we love the story. Like, you've got to have that story. Go talk to a guy named John Force, and he'll tell you that's how he had to do it. He did it exactly the way. He was a truck driver. You're a firefighter. Let's talk a little bit about that. So you got a promotion at work. That's your regular working guy, man. You're a public servant, but you're going to be out there. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of friends out there. What's that experience been like to this point?
It's really cool. The guys at the firehouse think it's really cool that I do this, and they're all coming out on Saturday because they're on shift Friday. So we're gonna have a lot of firemen there. It's great because my schedule allows me to do this. We work 24 on, 48 off, and I can make work trades to get my weekends filled so I can, you know, be at the racetrack. So the fire department is really cool. And the support and, cheering on that we get from firemen from around the world. I get Facebook messages and Instagram messages. Everybody's cheering us on and rooting for us and hoping for the best. So it's like a big camaraderie and brotherhood, which I love. And, like you said, the story's a great story. I just wish people would realize the potential of what we could do together if we just got the right people working together with this. NHRA, I think they're kind of dropping the ball because we could be doing a lot of cool marketing and things. I'm a Chicago native, fireman, first responder, but they got Tony Stewart and TJ Zizzo on the news and no one's talked to me about anything. But I think the locals would think that's pretty cool that one of their firemen is racing at the pro level. There's just a lot of cool things we could do with the first responder program, get me more involved. I could bring a lot to the table. I see the potential. I like the story. Our fans love the story. I just got to figure out how to get that story out there and get some support behind it. So, we're trying. It's just really hard, Joe.
Well, all of these things are true at the same time. And what do they say? Like the biggest part of life is showing up, and you are doing that, and you got to just keep showing up. That's the thing. You got to keep showing up. TJ #1 qualifier last year. He was on at the start of the show. I mean, I get it. But Tony Stewart, obviously. But you keep showing up.
Yeah,
you bring your firefighter buddies out there. You represent the hardworking blue collar guy that's going into the flames, and you keep being that guy for those guys. It's all going to come for you.
We're trying. Like everybody told me I'd never even make it this far, so I feel a sense of accomplishment just being able to say that I did it. Everybody told me I would never be able to do it, and that just motivated me more. So now I got a taste of it. I'd like to do it more. But as you know, man, this sport it's brutal. The business side of it is very hard. The financial side of it's even harder. Driving the car is a learning curve, but I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I get complimented by fellow drivers. My lights are pretty good. I keep the car in the groove. And, we're learning a lot as we go. This car is going to be something to watch out for. We just got to get back out there and show people what we can do.
Well, Chris, I appreciate you coming on the show and telling us your story. While we've got everyone's attention out there, is there anything that they can come see? Certainly at your pit, but a way to follow along with your story as it continues to evolve. So it sounds like, like Norwalk is the race that you're going there to try to, go some rounds and win the race. But this is, gaining information and being there for the hometown crowd out there at Route 66. Where can people find out more or follow along with your story?
So we're on social media, Facebook at Chris King Racing. We're on Instagram and Twitter as well. Squad 1 Firefighter CK, and my Instagram is Funny Car Fireman CK. So pretty easy to find us on the social media aspect, and my social team does a great job keeping people informed and in interacting with them and doing things like that. So you can do that. And, look forward to seeing people at the track. Come down to the ropes, say hi, get an autograph, take a picture with the car. We're very open and very fan friendly. So we like to talk to people and get people involved, show them the car, especially first timers. That's what it's all about. I was a fan at one time. I know what it's like. So I like to spend time with them and do what I can to give back, because not that many years ago, I was on the other side of the ropes, just trying to get the opportunity to do what I do today. So I'm thankful for the fans, thankful for the opportunity to be here. And, we're going to continue to do what we can.
Keep doing what you're doing. It's working. You're getting there, right? Like nobody progresses exactly as fast in the pace that they want initially. But if you step back, you've come a million miles in a very short amount of time for what you're trying to do, as you say, which is very, very hard. Chris, I'll see you out there. Good luck this weekend. Most importantly, Dad, congratulations on your son graduating college. He's got to walk the stage, but he's already made it. That is a big deal. Probably the most prideful thing that you've done is put another positive person into the world.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm very proud of Shane and look forward to seeing him cross that stage. He's very proud of himself also. And this is just the beginning for him. He's going to start grad school as well and go for his master's and doctorate eventually. So very proud of him. So this weekend will be fun. Get to race the race car and then go to Milwaukee, watch my son graduate. So life's good.
Life is good. Way to go, Chris. We'll see you at the track. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe. Take care. We'll see you.
There he goes. Chris King with us here on WFO Radio. And it's amazing. This is what the sport is. At one end of the spectrum, like tomorrow I fly out. I'm doing a media press conference at, Gino's on Thursday. And it's going to be Jack Beckman, and it's going to be Austin Prague, two sponsored racers. They both, contending for world championships. They're media savvy. What other sport can a hardworking person who is a public servant, who runs into fires for the public to save people, choose that this is something that they want to do as their competitive endeavor and race on the same track at the same time in the same race? It's really amazing. It's an amazing stat for NHRA drag racing. It's very uncommon, unlike anything else that we really have out there in mainstream motorsports. So congratulations to Chris. And I really, I when I initially heard what they were trying to do, I thought it could potentially be misunderstood what he was trying to do. And I love how they have gone out of their way to clarify what they're trying to do. And yeah, man, if you can't get down quicker than the guy who's going to, 850 feet and clicking it off to get the data so he can run in Norwalk, then that's on you. All right, put your comments in the comment section. Want to remind everybody about the Night of Chaos coming up Saturday night, May 24th, Maple Grove Raceway, $40 per carload. Are you anywhere in the Philadelphia area? Are you anywhere near Reading, Pennsylvania, like the antiquing capital of the world, home of the Shady Maple? If you're going to be in that area on Saturday night, May 24th, Kid Chaos, you didn't even know I was going to do this, right? You asked me to do something. I go all out. 100% WFO. There should be a saying like that. There's going to be top alcohol cars there. It's going to be an NHRA Lucas Oil Series, but you're going to have jet cars. You're going to have a jet truck. They've got an 850 shootout. But I think the thing that is the most cool about it is it's $5 a person. All you got to do is fill your car with 8 people. So it's really easy to do the math. How big a carload can you put together? Now, why are they doing this? They're doing it to grow the sport of drag racing. Everybody is an armchair promoter. We all are armchair promoters. We're all trying to come up with a magic bullet that is going to put thousands of more fans in the stands. And, I go to the neighbor kid, like, you want to go to the drag races with me? And they're like, I don't know what that is. But now if you're in the area, Saturday night, the Night of Chaos, thus, Captain Chaos, Kid Chaos, House of Chaos, all of these things, the Night of Chaos, it's going to be a big, wild, fun show featuring, nitro burning alcohol dragsters. They're going to be running 280 miles an hour, probably. Jet truck, jet cars. I'm going to the event. I think that's cool. And you're in for $40 a carload. So, spread the word. Here's the downside. And, I'm not above giving you the downside on WFO. We tell it like it is. Straightforward, straight up. No BS. You're already the converted. You're probably the people who are going to go anyway. If you're watching WFO radio, we need to get out there and, talk to the kids and tell them to bring their high school friends, and you pack them in the car. All you guys that converted who would love to bring your kids' friends, but you don't have the cash to spend, $25 a kid to get them in there. They're 17, 18 years old. They're 20, they're 22 years old. Now you can do it. And so every fan of drag racing should be able to rustle up, between 17 and 25 people, and you pack them into your car as safely as you possibly can. And you go into there to the House of Chaos for $40 a carload. I think it's fun and it's funny. A couple other notes as you guys put your comments in the comments section. The Sean Bellemere interview is doing much better than I thought it actually would. We have these storylines that are happening. We don't do WFO radio every day. The archive is loaded and waiting for you every day. But we don't have new content every single day, especially with all the other shows out there. Everybody is, there's only so much time to be listening to drag racing content. It's a very exciting time for all of NHRA fandom and everybody that does this for a living, loves the sport. Very exciting time. But had an opportunity to talk to Sean about their performance recently, and that is in the archive. The big headline, though, is that they're going to bring out the Alki car. You want to hear the deets, the reasoning, the methodology, what's going on with Steve Boggs and Sean Bellemere and the rules changes and all that. That is on our YouTube channel, WFO Radio TV. The link is right down there. It's in the archive, and just check it out. It's really amazing. Brittany Force, the 341 show. We dropped that last week in an unopportune time. Brittany had amazing things to say, not only about running 341, not only about her performance on NHRA's YouTube reality show called Driven, which was very interesting. I found it to be interesting, all the details of, Brittany and her quirks and whatnot. But she talked about her dad and how he's managing the situation of being a spectator. She talked about driving force. We got into a lot of interesting discussions with Brittany on the show. So I encourage you to go check out those interviews. They were good stuff. And then, of course, Randy Couture last week, the UFC champion, who will be unveiling his car this weekend at the Gerber Collision and Glass Route 66 NHRA Nationals, presented by Peak Performance. Who will have more people there? That is my side bet that I want to know. Will it be Peak Performance? Will it be Gerber Collision and Glass? Or will it be Skag? Don't forget, like Tim Wilkerson told me that Skag is going to have something like, I'm making up a number now, over 1,000 people out there. I think he said 1,500 people, which is a lot for any sponsor to bring out. So be ready to be there, and let's see what everybody's got to say out there in the comment section. Henry just working for me. Thank you, Henry. Please hit the like button, guys. Henry knows that the YouTube algorithm is all about leaving a comment and liking and sharing. And YouTube says, why the heck are these people liking this thing? It must be good. Let's show it to more people. It's just that simple. Thank you, Henry. Thank you for that. I wish everybody would do that all the time. BW Show, which is Blake, our great friend, says, Chris, thank you for your service to our country, and I appreciate it. You know, every race we do a fire department coffee community hero. And I've got some great friends down here in South Florida, drag racers. Fast Eddie Fetter Kyle is a firefighter. What an amazing career to have. You know, there's adrenaline, there's danger, but drag racing is the right sport for someone who does that for a living. And so, Chris, I'm very excited about it. Very excited. Let's see. Nicole, racing family is great for helping everyone stay competitive. Well, if they didn't, we're kind of in a new era. You see in these videos, the old school stuff, the archival footage, and there's 60 or 70, funny cars, but it's really junkyard parts that these people put together, and a couple of buddies could put together a funny car. That's not the way it is anymore, nor should it be. And you also have countless new categories, top sportsman. You want to go fast? You can go top dragster racing. You're going really fast. You go to top sportsman racing. You can, there's everything. There's all these options and opportunities. So the rare person that tries to go nitro racing, they could literally vaporize their entire budget in one day. They could just melt it. So without people like the Torrance family and Bobby Lagana, I was thinking about them the other day, like how much they have done with their used parts recycling program that lies just under the surface that not a lot of people know. And all the discussion around like how many races will they run? And, with Billy not being out really so far this year, and however they choose to run their program now and in the future, as their business is really busy and Steve is a dad and all that, how there's going to be a bit of a cascading effect. And other teams will have to take up the slack, as in help feed, there's that Tony Shortall word, feed the cars that are in the, second tier or third tier, people who buy used parts from the teams that can only, that will choose to run a crankshaft for 4 runs. There's a lot of layers to this. It's very interesting. And Chris King is one of those guys buying parts. Jim Riddler, finally got my Project Pontiac t-shirt. Thank you very much. You say finally, did it take a long time? I have ordered, because that's where I get the Project Pontiac t-shirts that I give to, I delivered some to Keith Wilson and Wilson Manifolds. I delivered some to Worth Path Performance this past week. And I have to order them online as well. And they usually come pretty rapidly within 10 days, I think is fair. So he says, finally got a shirt. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you have a great time with your shirt. Ron Merkel, speaking of Pontiac guys, says, great show. Ant Dog going to be out there at the Maple Grove. Very cool. Very cool. Want to mention a couple other folks that help us out here on WFO Radio. Make it happen. If you like coffee, Marvin Rodak, RodaksCoffeeandGrills.com. Hot sauces, spice rubs, everything is great at Marvin's. Give him a call, 817-924-6821. He's in Fort Worth, Texas. Oh, you can bet he'll be down there at the Stampede of Speed, baby. He's going to be down there, and I will be down there again. I have been confirmed. I get to go back to the Stampede of Speed 2025. We talk about WFO Radio meetups at all our different events and whatnot that we go to, but the Stampede of Speed is a flagship of WFO events. We're down there for 11 days. We do the country concerts, spend a lot of time, Jegs All-Stars, divisional race, Night of Champions, so many great things going on down there. And one of the best things is that Marvin is hanging out for pretty much the whole time. 817-924-6821, delivering coffee and hot sauces and spice rubs. Wherever you are around the country, you know, the prices of some things are going up. Marvin, it was never cheap stuff. Never was cheap, but it's always great. And since you're spending more money on bad stuff, you might as well just get good stuff. Does that make sense, that logic? It really should. 817-924-6821. Call Marvin. Also want to shout out to Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. Had Randy Couture on the show last week, and he went to see Frank, and he talked a little bit about the methodology and the mental side, and all of that is amazing. If you want to get your top alcohol dragster or funny car license, you want to go through the program a couple of times like Tony Stewart did. But the way I like to think about it is you're watching this show and you're maybe intrigued about what it might be like to drive a dragster, but how in the world do you make that even happen? And Frank has a program. It's called the Dragster Adventure. They've got a bunch of dragsters. They've got them tuned up in such a way that a person off the street with a little bit of education can jump in the dragsters and have the experience. It's called the Dragster Adventure. It's like you and your boys go do it one afternoon. Instead of making laps on a round track, you go drive dragsters. And you and your best sales team, you and your best clients, go to the Dragster Adventure. They travel around the country. They come to you. So check them out at frankhawley.com. And, of course, tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. Get yourself a can of Foggett Summit Racing equipment, of course. The folks at Redline Oil have been tremendous. As we educate about Redline synthetic motor oil, and obviously many top fuel teams are using it for safety reasons in addition to performance reasons, like flash fires are much lessened with Redline oil, all of those things, very high zinc properties in there. But every listener or viewer of WFO Radio can go into any auto parts store and pick up a bottle of water wetter for your cooling system. They have products that are mainstream as well and easily to get. But gear oil, transmission fluid, Redline does it all. Thank you, Redline, for being on board with WFO Radio. CWT Industries, Randy Neal and the company, Balance Machines. If you work in a machine shop, you still got an old balance machine, you need to update. Randy Neal, CWT Industries. Tell me you heard about it on WFO Radio. Plus FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters, Total Seal, and Jesse Converters. So exciting as we get ready for the Gerber Collision and Glass Route 66 Nationals. Jim says, I'll wear it this weekend. I'll wear it proudly. Thank you very much. You know, there's one of the media sites out there, and I will tell you, be on the lookout. Dragzine is doing a feature on Project Pontiac. And so I uploaded the video of the first ever round of competition that Project Pontiac was involved in from Speed World Orlando. I didn't put it on YouTube. Can you believe that? I just put it on Facebook, and it got many views on Facebook, but I have just uploaded it to YouTube. And so go check that out. Me and my great friend Lee Neal, unfortunately, had to race each other. Something weird is happening in the Lucas Oil series. It happened in Orlando, and it happened at zMAX at the National, where for whatever reason, and this is not good, that racers feel like they can switch lanes in the lanes from the right to the left, or the left to the right, or, oh my gosh, I got to run my friend. I'm going to pull out of line and pull back in line. That happened to me and my friend Lee. We, honestly, were too close. We were one car away. But when someone pulled out of the lane, we had to race each other. It made a very difficult and challenging round one of existence for Project Pontiac. It's less difficult for me because I ended up coming out on top with a really great reaction time and ran 1090 with a 4. So that was good. But that might not have happened had I not had the extra jolt of adrenaline. But guys, once you commit to the lane, you're in the lane. No moving, no jumping from left to the right or the right to the left. And obviously everybody that's in control of the deal needs to, crack down. The problem is nobody wants to rat. What did we learn? We learned from Goodfellas, like keep your mouth shut and you don't rat on your friends or fellow racers. We learned that. It's like the first lesson of life. Keep your mouth shut and you don't rat on your friends or fellow racers. And nobody wants to be that person. And that's why you got to have, people on the beat. You got to have people on the beat. Hope to see you this weekend at Route 66. Project Pontiac's strong. Hey, trying to figure out the next place that Project Pontiac is going to race at. We don't know exactly. Working on it. Now I'm working on the trailer. Folks at Wright Trailers got me set up with the core philosophy behind the trailer. Like I can get it to and from the track, which is great. Next thing I need to do is learn how to be organized in the trailer and have a spot for everything and know where everything goes and all of those things. It's very challenging. Setting up your racing operation for success. I think there's probably a podcast there. 83331 Wright Trailers. Thank you, Michael Scott and the team over there. And if you're interested in a Project Pontiac shirt that looks kind of like this, hit the WFO store. I believe things are still discounted. What they do every few days, every other week, they put everything in the store 35% off. And so the price is cheaper. So I tell everybody, like, if you're going to get WFO swag, you're going to get a fire shirt, you're going to get a WFO shirt, you're going to get Morris Motorsports gear, just wait till it goes on sale. Because in the end, we're not like going to retire on the money we make off the shirts. It's more about letting other people know about the show because you are our marketing program, the word of mouth. This is the show. You got loans, NHRAs, pushing that NHRA Insider podcast. It's everywhere. It's on NHRA TV. And I'm over here like, hey, WFO. And it's working. Thank you. We got a special Hidden Horsepower episode, Remembering Ed Pink, with special guest Frank Honsowetz, getting ready to drop me and Keith Jones. Frank was the president and general manager of Ed Pink Racing Engines. And he has countless amazing stories about Ed. You're definitely going to want to check them out. Thank you so much to TJ Zizzo. Thank you to Matt Smith. Thank you to Chris King and everybody involved with the show. We'll see you at Route 66 Raceway this weekend. The archive is waiting for you. Have a great week, guys.